Hello everyone, in this video I will going on to teach you how to make a multiplayer feature in our endless running game. So first of all, you need to go to the Photon Engine website. You can click on the create one to register for an account or straight away log into your account. After log into your account, you need to click the dashboard, and here we'll have a create a new app button. Just click on it to create a new game server. And then for the Photon type, you need to choose the PON, and then continue enter your app's name. The description is optional to fill in, so you can click the create button. Once the server is successfully created, it will show in the dashboard, and this will be your server. You need to copy the app ID and use it later. Next, we move on to the Unity. Before we start, you need to go to the asset store inside the Unity and then search for the PON2 free asset. Download and import it. This window will pop up after successfully importing the asset. Paste the app's ID you just copied, and then click on the Setup Project and close the window. In order to have a multiplayer game, first you need to have a scene for player to create room or join room. So you just need to have 2 buttons and 2 input fields. After this, you need to have an empty game object. And then drag the network controller script into the game object. Inside the network controller script, you first need to connect to your server and make sure that the automatically scene is set to true, so that the player scene can see other player in scene. Next, you need to have the create room and join room function. Once the player creates or joins a room, this join room function will run and load the game scene. So for the network controller, you need to drag the create and join input fields into it. And then you can set the maximum number of the player in a room. After this, for the create button, you need to drag the network controller into the onCreate event. And then choose the function create room. Same goes to the join button. Drag the network controller into the onCreate event and then choose the function join room. Next, go to the game scene. You need to create a folder and name it as resource. After this, drag the player from the hierarchy into the folder to become a prefab. And then for the player, you need to add the photon view and photo transform view. Also, for the game scene, you need to create a game controller and 2 spawn points. In the game controller script, you need to instantiate the player for each spawn point will await. And then drag the 2 spawn points you just create into the game controller. Besides, for each action, you need to add the photon is mine to prevent the same action from going to another player scene. After that, you can test your multiplayer game by build your project from the build setting. Once the project successfully built, you can run both projects from your folder and the Unity. To test the multiplayer game, the first player must create the game room by entering the room ID and then click the create button. Then for the second player must enter the same room ID at the join input field and then click the join button to enter the room created by first player. If the second player can join the same room, that means you have successfully made a multiplayer game. In this game, I have added a surprise element. When the player runs on the roof, some cannons will appear randomly. If the player collides with the cannons, they will be ejected for 5 seconds. When the player lands again, it depends on their luck because it is possible to land directly in front of the obstacle and face the danger of game over. But it is also possible to land in an open space and then the player can continue running. So let's try the game.